Welcome to the March to a Million podcast with Greg DuPont, founder of the Wealth Solutions Network. In this podcast, Greg shares his journey to positively impact 1 million lives by creating an army of financially minded attorneys who embrace an expanded role in their clients' lives. Greg and his guests challenge the status quo in the legal profession and the financial services industry, and show attorneys how they can improve their lives, provide greater value to their clients, and experience greater professional satisfaction. Join us in this movement and strengthen your business by learning how to solve your clients' most pressing financial problems.
Hello and welcome to another March to a Million podcast with Greg DuPont. Now, here's the deal. Over the last however many episodes we've done, Greg has dropped a lot of knowledge. And so I wanted to do almost like a greatest hits show where I'm going to pepper Greg with some questions about stuff that we've talked about previously and make sure that we're kind of distilling this specific point in time because some really cool stuff just happened. The inaugural class that Greg was just talking about has actually closed. He's got peeps doing this. We've got proof of concept. He's getting lots of questions, which is going to make for unbelievable content for the show. So Greg, are you ready for this greatest hits?
Yeah, I'm so excited to get started talking here, Matt. You know, it's the last 6 months since we started this together has been a whirlwind of activity and nothing but positive. And it's been so great to see what has been a vision of mine for so long really start to come to fruition and to see the impact that I can have on so many people that have now joined the cause, let alone the consumer down the road. So bring it on. I'm excited to answer any questions that you got so we can clarify things that in my mind may have been crystal clear, but as you listen to them, you're like, Greg, you've missed some detail on here. So I'm happy to try to clarify some stuff.
Well, so you just opened my first can of worms, brother, which is I want you to remind everybody where this whole idea came from.
So this whole concept of the Wealth Solutions Network, you know, it really has its genesis in my challenge to myself. I built this law practice, I built this financial advisory practice to serve the consumer that I felt was unserved. And nothing that I've experienced in my last 15 years has ever changed that thesis. No matter how many people I've gotten to know in the financial world, that central thesis still holds rock solid, that there just aren't enough people providing the type of guidance that are needed. In many years ago, 3.5, well, actually I just passed my birthday, so 4 years ago now, I started challenging myself with what became the March to a Million, which is what this podcast is named after, where I want to positively impact 1 million lives by the time I reach the ripe old age of 65 on September 30, 2030. And I realized that I needed to create an army to help do this the right way. It was easy for me to score up people impacted by things like, followers and impressions and all that happy malarkey that we use in the social media world. But when I want it to be actual provable impact on people, I need to recruit an army. And that's what we're doing with WSN, an army of financially minded attorneys and other professionals as this grows out that we know are doing the right thing by their clients and stepping in, providing that leadership and guidance that is so woefully needed in this underserved world.
Yeah. All right. So saw a need, fill a need, right? You have proof of concept because you've done it within your own practice, specifically your law practice and your financial services practice. You've already gotten a very robust response to the content that you've created. You're getting people to sign up who want to actually join the network so that you can actually create this army. But an army is only as good as the systems upon which that army functions. So I'd also like for you to take a few minutes and actually I'd like you to take a little bit of more time than you and I, like this spotlight's on you on this one, brother, is I really want you to go over the pillars again. All right, so let's talk about the pillars again, what those pillars mean, and how those pillars go ahead and work together. Is that all right?
Sure. So let's kind of take a step back on that and what led to the pillars and what that's all about, you know, because what I have seen over my practice both the financial as well as the legal practice, is that so many of these situations and solutions that we provide from a financial world, fit a repeatable pattern. It's the old 80-20 principle. And I had to come up with ways in my own business to be able to reproduce the actions, reproduce the outcomes in a system. And as my business continued to grow and flourish, well, then I had to take my systems that were working for me and to teach them to other attorneys in my office. And that's when it occurred to me, okay, if I got to teach other attorneys in my office, what's the difference between teaching them and teaching attorneys outside of the office? So that's where I came up with the structure of the 6 pillars, which are pithy little ways to hang your hat on something, so that you are able to come in and understand that this is a wealth enhancement issue that I'm trying to do. I'm dealing with some of the wealth enhancement pillar, and from our checklist, this is what I need to be looking for. These are the questions that I need to be asking so I can dig deeper with my clients to find out what they're really all about. But as much as we've talked about the individual pillars, the techniques, it really, that 6th pillar, that the fiduciary mindset, the financial advocacy mindset, that's the one that drives all of this. Everything, all the other ones are financial tactics and solutions, but the one that drives it all is the mindset. Or I just had the pleasure of listening to Micah Guglielmo. I'm not sure if you've heard him. He was at the Great Legal Marketing Convention that I was at last week, where I presented myself regarding WSN. But he aptly renamed it from mindset to mind growth.
Oh,
and not just your focus, but because mindset, he says, oh yeah, that's kind of like being set in concrete, right? But a mind growth perspective is I'm always looking to grow. I'm always looking to expand my knowledge base. I'm always looking to move forward. So, that one pillar, the mindset, I can't take his term. You can't call it my own, but that mindset that we're going to step in the breach and help people reach their outcomes. So I'm not sure if you want to go back into any of those specific ones.
Well, let's just go through, and then I want to come back to the 6th one, because you just opened up another avenue that I want to chase for a few minutes. But just give us the quick overview of the 6, and then I definitely want to hang my hat on that 6th, because I think that's really where everybody. That's the differentiator, and that's also the qualifier. That's probably a better word. I should have used that. That's the qualifier of the right people joining the Wealth Solutions Network. So what do you think? You ready?
Yeah, let's roll with that. So, the 6 pillars are part of our 3-step process, right? How we are getting people in, the people that understand that there is this gap that they need to help support the consumer. In the framework, that once we get that financial advocacy mindset, we're looking at how do we, address the first pillar, the wealth management component of things. This is the one that's kind of, I'll say the word sexy for lack of a better word, but this is the one that attracted me initially, thinking, well, I can get some residual income off of this and don't have to start every year with 0 revenue. But I know I've got repeatable, predictable income for myself through helping people as a fiduciary investment advisor, helping them manage their assets. And so that's at its core what the wealth management pillar is all about. And again, with what we have done here with WSN, we have the solutions in place, or turnkey solutions for the attorney come investment advisor / financial advisor / financial advocate in my world. They know that they're providing a top quality solution for the client for their ability to have their assets managed, which is a little different than pillar 2, wealth preservation, where we're more focusing on how do we take what this nest egg that people have come to us with, most of the people that we talk to are 55 to 70, and they've done most of their savings, and they want to preserve, protect, and transfer those assets in light of all of the risk ahead of them. Is there going to be this incredible change in the market as the new economy evolves? Is there going to be incredible changes on the tax structure, these kind of things? So that's really tax planning and risk mitigation is what that's all about. Then we have the third pillar, wealth enhancement. Okay, so we've got what we've got. Now, how do we maybe watch this grow? We're looking at our future and saying, I think I've got everything that I need. What other opportunities are there for me? Can I now accumulate for higher goals and aspirations? Do I have charitable intentions and those kind of things that may be able to create broader impact in this world? And then we've got wealth accumulation. And this is the fourth pillar for people that are in the beginning of their savings journey, that are sitting there going, man, there are a lot of headwinds out here. It's hard for me to get ahead. What do I need to do? How can I plan for the future when I've got mortgage and I've got kids I need to send to college and I've got, taxes that are going to increase in the future, those type of things? That's what the wealth accumulation pillar focuses on. How do we solve those problems for that younger consumer, professional, or executive? How do we help them? Because they're not getting guidance. They're putting their money into their 401k at work and not getting the right structure that they look. And then the fifth pillar, and which is for all of us attorneys that are estate plan attorneys to start with, the one that's near and dear to our heart, that's wealth transfer. How do we most efficiently transfer this wealth that our clients have accumulated to their chosen heirs and not to the IRS? How do we maybe bring leverage into that? How do we change the tax picture on all that? So, those are the 5 core frameworks that the attorney can now kind of latch on to. Hey, I'm sitting in front of a client that's, 35, just had their kids, and they are looking at, how do they take care of these challenges? Well, okay, I can focus my attention on this is a case that's more aligned with the needs for wealth accumulation. How do I help this client out? And so that's kind of the core of why I came up with these pillars, to be able to have a theoretical framework so that the attorney can, again, hang their hat on what the fact patterns in front of them, and not have all of the noise of all of the other financial training out there. So I'm going to stop talking for a second, Matt. You know how much I'd love to talk. I'm going to turn it over to you and say, hey, Matt, did I answer your question, or did I just ramble on incoherently for the last 5 minutes?
First off, that was fantastic. It was a great summary of what each of those pillars are. And, I love the fact that the pillars are very all encompassing. So because you have the wealth accumulation pillar, what I think that does, and correct me if I'm wrong, is as you're an estate planning attorney and you're working with people who are older, that gives you, as the estate planning attorney or the financial advisor and the financial advisor, a great reason to talk to their children. We're about to go into this wealth transfer, the great wealth transfer. In fact, I have slides up on the screen. Friends of mine sent this to me because we were just there. $72.6 trillion of wealth transferring to younger investors by 2045, right? And so estate planning attorneys are so perfectly positioned to make this happen. So not only are they going to be able to grow their practice and actually provide real comprehensive advice, to their clients, but it's also going to open those doors for you having a real conversation with that next generation. What have you seen in your practice with this 6-pillared system with Wealth Solutions Network within your own practice? How has that opened doors for you to talk to the recipients of the transfer of wealth?
So one of my best cases this year, my favorite ones to bring up and talk about, was a referral from a legal plan. That was somebody that was inheriting money from her parents. And she couldn't find an attorney to talk to about her role as beneficiary. And she found my office. Didn't come through anything else, any other type of referral. She just was out of the blue. And when she started talking, I've quickly realized that she was getting bad, wrong tax advice about what she was inheriting. A few $1 million. And this bad advice was causing her all kinds of consternation, shall we say. Fast forward, I showed her the right answer on her tax picture. I showed her what her future tax picture looked like. And we started working together on a financial plan, let alone her own estate plan. And at the end of the day, last week, after we've done everything that we need to do, she sends me an email saying, "Hey, Greg, I'd like to set up an appointment with my 2 kids for you for Christmas. Can I do that?" Yes, you can.
Yes, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh.
And by the way, with that client, she was in her early 60s, didn't have any idea that she could retire. She's retiring here at the end of the year after we work together, and she's got no care in the world. We've got everything covered. And she's now going to pass down to her kids the same type of thing that she got from her parents, except her stuff that's going down to her kids, there is no chance that it'll be taxed.
Wow. Dude, that's the sort of stuff that you just sit back and you think to yourself, it isn't too good to be true because it's the right system, right? And I don't know what it's like in the world of estate planning attorneys, but we work with a lot of financial advisors, right? And there's always the next new shiny object. And what happens is you go to these conferences and you get all of these new ideas. You never really put what you should into them, and it's flash in the pan. This is such a different system, but let's talk now about who is right for this. So that's that 6th pillar. That's what I kind of want to finish the show up with today, is I really want you to talk to the audience today about who is the right person to join Wealth Solutions Network, to give you a phone call and say, "Hey, I'm that person." What do they look like?
I'm going to give you that answer in the context of the people I've talked to so far.
Good.
And what I've seen from them, the ones that have joined. And they are younger estate planning attorneys, predominantly. Some of them are transitioning into estate planning that really value the potential for a relationship with their client. Same things that made me change 15 years ago. The fact that I did not like the transactional nature of how my estate planning practice had evolved, that I wanted to be able to create and maintain relationships. And so, that's first and foremost what a WSN member values most. And when you start from that core, that you're here to build relationships, not just to make more money, then that automatically pulls in the heart, which is what you need to really soar in this business. You mentioned the shiny object syndrome and all that stuff. And, between you and I, we probably know several thousand financial advisors, right? And the ones that make it, the good ones, come with a servant heart and start with client first. Many of them wear their heart on a sleeve. I tend to wear my heart on a sleeve as well. But that's also the secret weapon as we look forward to this future with AI and everything. Mm-hmm. So the right person for WSN is someone who says, hell yes, I want to have better relationships with my clients. I want to do that by serving them. As I mentioned in my presentation at the conference the other day, you come into this thing, for most estate planning lawyers, if you gravitated that way in your practice, well, you do have a bit of a servant's heart, because most people that go to law school have some form of servant heart to start with.
Yeah.
and those that manifests itself in trying to fight for the downtrodden or virtue and all that stuff, that's good for them. That wasn't my path. I don't care about the downtrodden. Did I say that live? I'm out here to help my people, and this is the way I do it. And that's the same perspective that the right member of WSN is. That they say, not, well, maybe this is for me, but hell yes, this is for me.
Right. Well, you can't help everybody.
I've tried.
Right. And we also know, since you and I have been around for a little bit here, that when you have laser focus, right, and you really know exactly who you want to serve, and then you create the systems around your life to truly be able to serve those people, you're actually able to make a bigger impact. I mean, your march to 1 million, that's a hell of a goal, brother. I mean, that's a big deal. And we want to make sure that the people who are joining this army are really going to join the army to make sure that they're furthering this whole, philosophy and this whole calling, the servant's heart that you have. Okay, I'm going to ask you my favorite question. I don't think I've actually asked you this in this podcast before because we've been so structured with a lot of the other shows. What should I ask you about this first iteration of WSN that I didn't ask you on today's show?
So I'll answer that as I usually do, in an obtuse fashion. Because I am what I am, right? You should have asked me if things are going according to my goals.
Oh, ooh, you really? All right, dude. I love it. Okay, answer that question. That's a good one.
Yeah, and the answer is a qualified yes, but most predominantly no. And it's been interesting as I have put the marker down and said, this is what I'm doing, and setting goals. It's something that was completely crafted out of the ether, right? I got no idea what this is going to be, how many people are going to join me in this merry crusade, what numbers I should put, because I've got to be smart, measurable numbers, right? Goals. And so, when I sat back and said, okay, what's my goal in terms of bodies for the Founders Club? I set a number that was much higher than I'm going to get. But that's okay, because I realized, what's the purpose of the Founders Club? The purpose of the Founders Club is to stress test what I've got, to establish proof of concept that, what I felt as an estate planning lawyer 15 years ago and what I felt was going to be the case now is, in fact, the case for these estate planning lawyers that are talking to me, and that I've developed a solution, and that resonates. So knowing that we have proof of concept, knowing that that I know I can impact that attorney's lives and make it better, and knowing that they can coincidentally make other clients' lives that much better, then I'm right on target.
Yeah. Well, and you're also going to have amazing case studies too, right? And so it won't be just your case studies. All right. Now you've got, other, attorneys who are going to be able to provide you with that information too. All right. Well, listen, man, what's the best way for people to go ahead and reach out and find out more about Wealth Solutions Network, so that they can go ahead and really, since they identified with that 6 pillar, they want to talk to you. What is the best way for them to reach you?
Best way to get started is going to www.joinwsn.com. I will also make a shameless plug because, hey, this is my show, right? We have made the decision that we were going to continue to hold the Founders Club pricing through the end of the year. But for people that will be signing up for our Q1 2024 class. So we're going to continue to hold the lower price that people tell me I'm sane for having it that low in terms of value that can be delivered from this. But I'm going to hold that for as we build out Q1, because I built that number based upon a number of bodies.
Right.
I set my goal, and not there yet. So I can take some more in, and we'll look to Q1. before we start raising the prices next year.
All right, everybody, you need to go to www.joinwsn.com. Make sure that you follow Greg on social. We'll make sure that we have all of those links in our show notes here. And make sure if you have not subscribed to the podcast, you do. But lastly, listen, here's the deal. All of you know other estate planning attorneys. And when you heard Greg talk about that sixth pillar, if you know another person who really should be hearing this stuff, it's super easy to share this podcast. Just go ahead and click that share button, text message your other estate planning attorney friends, or go ahead and email this to whatever lists you might have of your friends that maybe you're in a mastermind group with, or you're in an organization with who you know this is going to resonate with. We are trying to build an army of people here who are going to fundamentally change the way that people manage their estate planning. They're passing that information down, and also their financial plans and their financial life. So with that, Greg, thanks for being on the show today, brother.
Thank you, Matt. Take care.
All right, everybody, we will see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Thank you for listening to the March to a Million podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available, and get in touch with our team by visiting our website at www.wealthsolutionsgroup.biz, or give us a call at 614-432-8065. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Wealth Solutions Network. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice from qualified financial service providers with any questions you may have.